evading ICO laws, SEC fraud charges, workplace hostility lawsuits. Sounds like something you might be familiar with on this channel. But what do all of these have in common? They're all part of the checkered past of Tron DAO founder Justin Sun. Last bull run, countless crypto investors lost everything in collapsing projects like Celsius, FTX, and Luna. But even with all of those bad actors washed out of the market, it's still important to know as much as possible about what project you're getting into, and more importantly, who is behind it. Today, we're going to be taking a closer look at Justin Sun and shining a light onto some of what's been going down behind the scenes. If you're a Tron investor, a USDT user, or just worried about the contagion risk that is still out there in crypto, then this is a video that you cannot afford to miss. It's time to discover real crypto. Okay, first off, I just want to say that my intention here, guys, is not to FUD anybody's bags or spread baseless rumors. The difference between me and other crypto influencers is I am not scared to hurt a community's feelings, because facts do not give a flying f about your feelings. What I'm trying to do is educate people and make them aware about legitimately concerning things surrounding someone who happens to be behind a project that is in the top 10 by market cap out of all crypto. It is number 2 in total locked value. And there is way too much nobody is talking about. Now, again, a lot of people get value from Tron. I might believe Justin Sun gets a little bit more value than everybody else, but I know they have a very passionate community. So I'm not trying to bash them or you or take away anything from them. But as new investors come back pouring into this market, it's not only important to catch them up on some of the history behind their favorite cryptos, it's important for us to allow them to make their own decisions about where to invest and tell them everything about each ecosystem. Because unlike 2021, where all of your crypto influencers were just VC pawns, they never cared about you, the viewer. They cared about the money their venture capitalist buddies would give them. How do I know this? Because I am living proof to this. I've seen the marketing agencies. I built a marketing agency. I sold the marketing agency. And I'm not gonna let what happened in 2021 with all of these VC shill shitcoin pump and dumps happen again in 2024. Well, I mean, they're gonna happen, but I am here to help hold these influencers accountable, as well as the founders and developers of these projects. So go ahead, smash that like button and subscribe to this channel and turn on those post notifications, because believe me, the educational content you're about to see is unlike anything you've seen before. That being said, Justin Sun is one shady dude. So let's get back to the beginning and dig a little deeper, starting with Tron. This is a blockchain project that was launched in 2017 in Beijing, China, with a native token called Poloniex, or TRX. It was developed by the Tron Foundation with the objective of creating a decentralized internet. Tron Foundation CEO Justin Sun initially had TRX created as ERC20 tokens and deployed them on the Ethereum network. Later, they made the decision to move away from Ethereum and launch their own layer 1. But what's important is the circumstances around the initial coin offering, or ICO, TRX. If you've been around in crypto long enough to remember what things were like back in 2017, then you know that it was the height of the ICO craze, and fake cash grab products were rug pulling left and right, just like in 2021. In response, the Chinese government labeled all ICOs a method for financial crimes. It completely banned them. But somehow, Justin Sun, somebody who just launched a project in Beijing, was able to finish the Tron token ICO, earning over $70 million before heading to Korea, all to avoid being prosecuted by the Chinese for violating their prohibition on ICOs. Sounds like a great guy. Now, The Verge reported on this back in 2021, and they said that sources who heard him tell this story say Justin believed that he was a fugitive and was ready to take off at a moment's notice. So there's at least some chance that Justin himself believes that Tron was launched illegally. Next up, we have what took place in the workplace, the harassment charges. A 70-page document filed in October of 2019. Let me say that again. A 70-page long document filed in October of 2019 in the California Superior Court for San Francisco County. Maybe if they waited for Xi Jinping to come back in 4 years, it would at least have been clean. Now, the details of the allegations were by Richard Hall and Lucas Jurasik, and this was all against Justin Sun and the Tron Foundation. The disgruntled pair claimed that Justin Sun and Tron head of engineering Kong Lee physically assaulted some personnel during office meetings. They also claimed that Sun and Lee favored Chinese employees and responded with an escalating harassment campaign when Hall and Jurasek alerted BitTorrent that pirated content and child pornography was circulating on their systems. Yes, you heard that right. BitTorrent is a file-sharing platform that Tron Foundation bought for $120 million and combined with. The alleged retaliations by Sun and Lee consisted of demoting and ultimately firing Hall and Jurasek. They also claimed that Sun and the Tron Foundation tampered with their personal files and their corporate email addresses to create an elaborate cover-up scheme and frame them for things that they never did. Again, all of this is an elaborate case of unproven claims and accusations, but it definitely doesn't make Justin or Tron look great. It's just an image thing. Like, for example, the whole His Excellency thing. For God only knows what reason, somehow, Justin Sun got himself appointed by the World Trade Organization as an ambassador. This happened in Grenada of 2021, and yes, this really did happen, but now allowed him to go by the title of Your Excellency. And believe it or not, Justin Sun forced people to call him that in interviews. He also put His Excellency on all of his social media accounts and started tweeting from his diplomatic Twitter account, He Justin Sun, as in His Excellency. But fortunately, there was an election in Grenada and they stripped him of this title in 2023. But like, that's weird behavior. Outright cringy. It just gives the impression that he looks desperate to look legit because he himself feels like he is not at all legit. I mean, if somebody actually thought they were of importance and of value, why would they force individuals to call them His Excellency? I mean, I get it, he's from Beijing, but Maoism was over like a century ago. Now on March 22nd, 2023, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission announced charges against Justin Sun, not surprisingly, the Tron Foundation, and BitTorrent, or Rainberry Inc., which is their US name. The SEC claims that they were offering the sale of an unregistered securities token in the form of TRX, and BitTorrent, BTT. The SEC also charged Sun and his companies with fraudulently manipulating the secondary market for TRX through extensive wash trading. Now, if you're unfamiliar, what that means is that the SEC is saying that Justin and his companies have been simultaneously buying and selling their Tron and BitTorrent tokens in large volumes to make it look like they are actively traded in high volumes, when in reality it was just Justin Sun repeatedly buying and selling his own bags over and over again. And finally, the SEC charged Justin with orchestrating a scheme to pay celebrities to shill Tron and BitTorrent without disclosing their compensation. The list included financially minded titans of industries like Lindsay Lohan, who definitely hasn't relapsed like other people we know, Lil Yachty, and Soulja Boy. But moving right along, on August 23rd of 2023, Truth Labs, or Boring Sleuth, one of the most underestimated sleuths on all of Twitter. I am leaking his Twitter in the comments below. You need to follow this guy because he dropped a tweet on a thread on X that looked into Tron's ICO. Because luckily, the one thing about blockchain is it's all transparent. You just gotta know where to look. What took place is he looked at the top 20 holders of Tron and basically alleged that Tron is a giant Ponzi scheme and part of the largest criminal cartel in the world. Now, I don't know about that because there's people like someone, Jamie Dimon, that, definitely has been manipulating markets for the last 4 decades and getting slaps on the wrist because he obviously owns and pays and lobbies all of our politicians, but that's besides the point. But you know what I mean. His Excellency has a lot of explaining to do on that. Now, the Boring Sleuth claims that 100 billion Tron tokens were given to a Chinese criminal organization tied to the CCP. Seems like the CCP strikes again. Not only did they fund the Ethereum Foundation, which you will see later in the ETHgate video dropping on this channel, so again, smash that like button and turn on those post notifications, he also claims that it is just pretty obvious, all based off of on-chain data. That's because 98% of the initial Tron tokens went to the Tron team members, with 17 of the top 20 wallets directly being owned by Tron, all while they were lazily disguised to look like they were owned by unique third-party investors. Effectively, what the Boring Sleuth and the SEC are saying is that a lot of what Tron and Justin Sun have been doing is quite illegal and just outright fake. Now, I would love to say that that is where this story ends, and that that's the end of the video. But honestly, we're barely even scratching the surface here. You see, on September 28th, Patrick Tan published an article detailing a theory that Justin Sun was using stUSDT, Huobi, and JustLend as a kind of exit scam. Now, although Justin Sun claims he is only an advisor to the Chinese crypto exchange Huobi, Patrick alleges, and I honestly believe he is convincing, but of course, innocent until proven guilty, but Justin has been using $200 million of his own money to prop up the struggling exchange, especially after they just had a massive crash on their HT token. Now, this is where it gets into the weeds a little bit, because JustLend DAO is a DeFi platform on Tron where users can earn yields through supplied assets. They can also borrow against collateral. They can stake their Tron, among other things. But Patrick gives a lengthy account, again, tracking large amounts of crypto moving around wallets, and claims that Justin Sun has pulled a lot of customers' USDT off of Huobi and funneled it directly into JustLend, all to prop up his unsustainable Tron DeFi project. Next Luna, question mark? Now, it's hard to prove anything definitively. But again, His Excellency has a lot of explaining to do, and probably won't. But this is a pretty new story and worth looking into in way more detail, especially if you're using Huobi or JustLend. After all, Tron is the second largest ecosystem in terms of total locked value. And this ties in nicely with one more thing that I want to mention that completely sussed me out. And that's USDD, decentralized US dollars, or USDT as they call it, is an algorithmic stablecoin that was launched by Justin Sun and Tron, all expressly inspired by Terra Luna. Now, the current annual yield for stakers of USDD is about 4.99%. Now, where does that come from? I don't know, and you probably don't either. But that is one thing you definitely need to ask yourself. If you don't know where the yield comes from, don't defend it. And if you do know where it comes from, it's probably because you're printing the money yourself. Now, even though that doesn't sound too wild, until you remember that back when Justin Sun launched the coin in May of 2024, they were offering a Ponzi that gave off Ponzinomics, a 30% annual percentage yield. And we're calling it risk-free yield, directly on their website. Risk-free 30% yield. I mean, Richard Hart, is that you? But all right, now I'd like to conclude by touching briefly on the latest crisis in Justin Sun's world, the Poloniex hack. On November 10th, 2023, Poloniex, a crypto exchange founded by disgraced Justin Sun, was hacked for over $100 million. The hack was first caught and flagged on Twitter by crypto security firms, specifically PeckShield and Cybers. And Poloniex then posted on X saying that their wallet was down for maintenance. What happened next, though, was a little bit strange, because according to Arkham, an Ethereum wallet that they have labeled the Poloniex hacker took about 114 million of the exchange across 357 different transactions. Another Tron wallet sent 42 million worth of Tron to various other wallets. Now, the on-chain data shows that the hacker purchased $20 million worth of Tron, which pushed the token's price by over 25%, which is sure a strange thing to do if you're a hacker, because hackers are hackers. And that means that they usually hack and steal crypto. Not to pump the price of crypto, to crash the price of crypto. Now, unless you've happened to have some kind of vested interest in keeping the price of Tron high, of course, but I can't think of anyone under the sun, so to speak, who might want to do that. I mean, can you? Anyways, Justin Sun offered a 5% white hat bounty for the return of the funds. Then he upped it to $10 million and gave a deadline by November 25th for them to accept. So I guess we're just gonna have to stay tuned and we will see who is really behind this. I'm not saying that Justin Sun is behind this, and of course, I can't prove that. And it would be wrong of me to imply that Justin Sun hacked his own exchange to pump the price of Tron. All because what? He's catastrophically over-leveraged and desperate for liquidity to prop up the house of cards that is, well, pretty much everything involved with Justin Sun and Tron? Again, just to be clear, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, please do your own research, because this is of course not financial advice. And I do recommend that you get your crypto off exchanges, especially if it says risk-free on its website. And most importantly, guys, just stay safe out there, because I truly hope that I'm going to see you guys at the top. And His Excellency, of course, printing us endless money like the Federal Reserve System, but all, of course, with risk-free yield.